All right, so we're back here once again on Couch Coach Live, another Wednesday night under the lights here at Couch Coach Live. What's going on, Maui?
What's up, man? Another week.
Yeah, man, another week just working and sports timber. Sports tober. Pardon me.
Hmm.
Sports tober continues with everything going on, and you got the ending of seasons, the beginning of seasons,
Right.
and some are you in the thick of the season as well. So just another great week in the great sports month of Sportstober. So and we got a great show lined up for you tonight. Little NFL heavy tonight. So we got a few things. We'll talk about Kirk Cousins. Should the Minnesota Vikings trade Kirk Cousins? Is this the last dance for Bill Belichick in New England?
Mm.
And also, can the San Francisco 49ers run the table? We'll also talk about our games to watch this weekend, especially got a great slate of college football and NFL games this week. Our pick seven picks, and also our game ball to round up tonight. And I have another historic game ball of great significance, especially in this area. And here, we're live here in Richmond, Virginia, the
Cool.
home of Couch Coach Live. So, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a brief time out. We'll come back, we'll do our style lineup, and we'll be right back here on Couch Coach Live.
You like that? You like that?
And we're back here. Chris, Couch Coach Powell, the Highland Springs High School.
Deshaun Maui Morgan. I'm living lavishly. I'm from the 7714.
All right, so we're back here
Mhm.
here on Couch Coach Live. So we're back here at it. As we kind of talked about it earlier, in the I call it the preview portion of it, the tease for the show. So we're talking about little Kirk Cousins. So obviously, you look at the Minnesota Vikings, their record currently is 1-4. They're pretty much at near the bottom of the NFC North. And obviously, other news has transpired with Justin Jefferson with his hamstring injury. He's pretty much on the IR. So in other words, he won't be back for another month, and that's pretty much
Mm.
at least a month because obviously it been being placed on IR.
Mhm.
So out should the Minnesota Vikings essentially punt on 2023 and get rid of Kirk Cousins?
Ah, no, I don't think so. I think they invested in him. I think I see a lot of people being younger, but they invested in Kirk Cousins. He's not hurt. I know Jeffries is down, which is his security blanket. But the coaches and the offensive coordinator need to step up and come up with Kirk Cousins, who is Kirk Cousins is. I know he's older, but I just watched the last game. He's still Kirk Cousins. You have to set him up the best way you can. We all know he's a play action quarterback. So you just have to necessarily set up some schemes, do your job, come up with some things that's going to bring the best out of Kirk Cousins. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah.
the downshaft of it, we're not, I'm not as shocked because it was either they was always at that line. They was either going to be there's going to be they'll be able to rise or fall down. It seemed like this season they're falling down. Um, so I don't think so. I think that there's still an opportunity from now. I'm even though I'm saying that if they necessarily can trade him and get something for him, I get it. But I think that with a receiver like Jeffries, I think that's really going to probably piss him off. You know what I mean? Because I feel like him and Cousins got very good chemistry. And I don't know how their relationship is, but I think that would piss him off because he's coming back in a couple weeks or he's out for the season.
Just 4 weeks for now. They can
4 weeks
probably
from now.
reevaluate him in a few weeks.
Okay.
And then,
Okay.
yeah.
But I would say no. I think Kirk Cousins, he got heart and he understands Jeffries is down, so other people give him the opportunity to step up and just come up with the right schemes for with the people that are stepping up and bring the best of them. That's what it is. To me, that's what you get paid for.
Yeah. I think the thing about with the whole Kirk Cousins situation, I'll put it this way: if I'm Minnesota, I'm taking calls. Like my phone is gonna be open all times of night.
Right, right,
Now, my thing is this: is because to me, this is the final year of Kirk Cousins'
right,
contract with the Minnesota Vikings. And if you're currently where you are, because I think they are they have the fourth. Well, I won't say the fourth worst, but if the season ended today, they would have the fourth overall pick.
right.
So they would have an opportunity potentially to either land. Well, they wouldn't land Caleb Williams, or maybe my nephew Drake May. There might be a Michael Penix Jr., but this is a really stacked quarterback class 2024
Right.
that we think of. Some are going to stay, and some are going to some going to declare for the draft. So part of me is like, if he's going to walk in this offseason, I would make some call. I would have my phone available in the event if somebody wants to get him. Like, I'll put it this way. I think you can get some fairly decent compensation. I think to a point where I think you get a Friday pick, essentially a second or third round Friday night. I got called that Friday night picks to $5 DVD Oscar nominated movies in those picks. So I think you can get a few. You can get some draft capital potentially in that. So I think the ultimate trade partner I think would be Joe Douglas. So to me, if I look how the schedule is panning out, they got the Bears. Want to see what they're gonna do with the Bears on Sunday. They got a Monday Night Football game against San Francisco 49ers.
Right.
Now, if I'm the GM of Minnesota and I want to unload Kirk, I'm just speaking from a Minnesota perspective, and I'm the GM. I want to call Joe Douglas. I figured, hey, if we lose, October 23rd, the Monday Night Football game against San Francisco, I'm calling Joe. I'm just saying. I know the trade deadline is October 31st. You got it. So even if I call Joe Douglas on the 24th, I got a few days. I'm just gonna call Joe and be like, "Hey, Joe, how's the family doing? How's everything going?" Kind of low. If Joe doesn't pick up my phone, I would say, "Hey, how's the family going?" But if you don't, I just give him the eye emoji, and hopefully I don't get left on red because hey. We got about 6.5 days that we can potentially make that deal. And I'm like, hey, he's walking. I don't know. You guys got a great defense. Hey, let's be trade partners. This throw me in a Friday pick and give me second or third, whatever you choose to desire, and then we work on the other ancillary things that can happen. So we'll figure out the numbers. But I would call Joe Douglas on October 24th after the Monday Night Football game and be like, "Hey, how's everything going? How was your weekend? And how's your family?"
Right.
But
yeah, I get it. I get he's older. This is last year, and you're saying you would take the call. That's just business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just business too. But I mean, I'm not even gonna front. I kind of agree with you because, but I just feel like when I'm looking at, and it's to me, it seemed like they already going that way. That's why they gave up their running back. Maybe they ready to start brand new and start young. You know what I mean? Because they knew, maybe they feel like they got the best out of Cousins.
Yeah, and they're at a weird spot because I think, and even if how it projects,
Mm-hmm.
So they're 1-4 now. So I'm thinking that pretty much I'm thinking about these next 3 weeks that
Right.
you are in this essentially when you can trade. So you got Chicago, as I mentioned. I think you could win that game. That make you 2-4.
Mm-hmm.
San Francisco, who knows? In this case, any given Monday, they might, I say it's a loss. So that make them 2-5. Then they got Green Bay on the 29th. Part of me is like, okay, if you win against Green Bay, you'll be 3-5 and you're 2-0 in the division. The
Right.
only caveat is what the Detroit Lions team is going to do, because I think how the North is going to be won. Essentially, it's not going to be one team that's going to the divisional winner is going to be the team that make the playoffs.
Right.
Unfortunately, because just you look at like what Dallas is doing, other teams in the other divisions are doing as far as being, as far as representing the wild card portion of the NFC. So yeah, this is the moment where hey, these next weeks are critical for the Minnesota Vikings, because if you can unload Kirk Cousins and get some at least a Friday pick,
Mm-hmm.
I would just do it, because we know that, especially if the way that this team is headed, their quarterback is currently in college, so their future quarterback is currently is playing on Saturdays, not on Sundays. But yeah, and I think when you look at
That's
it,
so disrespectful.
I mean, it is,
I
but
mean,
it is what
it
it
is,
is,
but it's the truth,
and it
though.
makes sense, because if you can get a guy, I mean, because all of us, and especially in the NFL, we just got to take a cue out of San Francisco book or other of these teams. You get a young quarterback, and then you build everything else up, and then when it's time for the pay, like just like what Kansas City did, just like what most successful teams have been doing. Even though they just paid Jalen Hurts, but you see what they did with Philly, where they built pretty much, um, you know, they built pretty much the foundation for Jalen Hurts and that football team. But
Mm-hmm.
that's what you're supposed to do. And I think, especially the way Minnesota is, because obviously 2021, they was losing game. They almost losing games how they are currently now, where it was like one possession games.
Right.
Then last year, fast forward last year, they won those games and those, one possession types of games. So
Right.
now you're reverting back to your 2021 self. And it's got to be something where, hey, we,
You went so far. I got you.
yeah.
Yeah, we done
So you
drank,
can't go but so
drank.
far,
Right.
and
Yeah.
you can't let a quarterback from Duke beat you at
People
home.
got to remember, man. Like their investments, and what is investment? Sell or buy? And it's like, hey, it's done went up high enough.
Yeah, but I would just put it this way: I'll have my phones on. I would take calls at this point. Hey, I mean, I know I'm thinking about the Jets, but it could be some other teams that may be intriguing. But I think the Jets might be somewhat of an intrigue.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Douglas, if you want to call me, my phone is available. Call me on my phone. I'm here all day, every day.
So you think San Francisco is the only place that would take him? You don't think there's anywhere else?
No, I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Jets.
The Jets. I'm sorry. That's why you did say the Jets.
Yeah,
So you don't. That's the only
yeah.
place you think would take him. You don't think New
I
York?
think the only one will make sense,
Okay.
because I look at the Jets with their defense. I don't know how it worked from a scheme standpoint. I mean, I figured, hey, maybe Hackett can figure it out, and because they got a good defense. The only issue is their quarterback play. Even though
Right.
Zach Wilson is getting better, but I don't know if they can wait on him in a sense. They're another team where they got to look at themselves in the mirror in the next 2 or 3 weeks and be like, hey, what do we do? Like, do we punt on this year? Even though I'm not saying punt in a sense where, okay, are we going to be, are we just going to accept that, hey, we're not going to make the playoffs, we can wait for Aaron Rodgers next year? Or, hey, let's try it, because you look at how, we thought about the Bills may run away with this division. We looked at the Bills, especially, a couple weeks ago when they beat the Dolphins. They're gonna probably potentially run away. And you gotta think so. They beat that football team on Monday Night Football. Even though Josh Allen committed 4 turnovers in that game, but hey, if I have a guy like a Kirk Cousins who, if I can kind of minimize his turnovers and he can just be effective, and obviously you got the weapons, you got Garrett Wilson there, And then, so you got them, you got Brees Hall, you got a great running game. So if I'm them, this is where, hey, I need to start looking myself in the mirror the next 2 weeks and kind of see, hey, how I'm feeling. Even though I still think you can still be in contention with Zach Wilson in a sense, but it's to a point where, hey, can we make a run? Like, and that's pretty much gonna be contingent on what you'll see in what's going on in Miami and what's gonna be going on in Buffalo in these next week or two, and just see, hey, because they're still within a grasp of potentially winning this division. I mean, it's not over by any stretch of the imagination, but these next 2 weeks, potentially 3 weeks, will be critical. This is going to be the moment. Hey, what we really want to do. I think that's where you gotta. This is when it's the time to, hey, let's figure this out and make some decisions.
So you don't think the Patriots?
No, they too far gone.
So you think? Gone. So you don't think they have no pieces that?
No.
Yeah, I got you.
Well, I mean, you can have pieces wherever, but I think it's just more so in a sense. Minnesota. I'm not Minnesota, but New England may call. But to me, like I said, if I'm the GM for Minnesota, my phone is on. You can call me. I don't care who it is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking Joe Douglas gonna call me because he might be a little desperate. I'm a McCainsville, Virginia brethren. Shout out to Joe Douglas.
Right.
But I'm like, hey, Joe, call me anytime. I might be having, dinner with my wife, my children, or whatever. Hey, call me. Hey, I can go to another room and talk to you. I'm gonna give you my personal phone, no burners. My phone is ready, and I'm not gonna miss a call. I'm not gonna, call me, Joe. Regardless, I can be anywhere. I can be anywhere on this earth.
Right.
Call me, Joe.
Hit me on the two-way.
Let's make something happen. Let's make something happen. Because I know what you want and I know what I want. Let's meet in the middle.
Right.
But that's one example, I think. But the same rules apply for any NFL GM that would want to call me. Call me. I'm charging my phone right now.
I'm just trying to figure out what other team may want him. Like, what other team you think? That's why I said the Patriots.
I don't know, but they really don't have no. I mean, for Minnesota's sake, they'll just pick up anything. But I think from a personnel standpoint, yeah, because if you want, especially if you want to unload and you can get somebody that can potentially help you in 2024. Because you that Friday, second or third round pick could be a starter on your team next year. That can make a difference for this Minnesota Vikings team going forward. To an asset that's going to walk out the door for nothing. So, hey, like I said, my phone.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying.
My phone ready. It's charged. This battery is never going to die. Call me anytime.
Right.
Like I said, I might be, whatever's going on in this, I'm gonna call you. If I can't,
this seems like that's the best situation in what you're saying. You're saying basically that just seems like that might be the best situation.
Yeah, hey, if I miss your call, I'm gonna call you right back. And I ain't talking about like the other, it ain't gonna be the next day. It's gonna be like instantaneous. If I miss your call, or I'm gonna call you like in 5 seconds after I missed that call.
Why won't they go get Jameis Winston, the Jets?
It's a possibility, but I think you look at it and then it's a possibility. But I look at Kirk, if because I'm not sure how the Saints are, as far as when it comes to Jameis Winston, because especially I don't know. But I know Derek Carr, he's been back. Obviously, I think he had a shoulder injury a few weeks ago, but he's playing. But yeah, if I'm Minnesota, I'm here.
Call me.
Call me. I'm here.
Right.
So yeah, and definitely before we go to the next topic, definitely huge shout out to our guy Sam, my NFC Beast brethren representing the Philadelphia Eagles. Definitely huge shout out him. We chop it up on Saturdays on the NSC Beast, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which you can find on the Couch Coach Live Twitter page and also BS3, pretty much everywhere or the guys at. So definitely you shout out our guy Sam for checking us out tonight. So, we're talking about Kirk Cousins, Billy Belichick. And now this is a very interesting scenario going on in New England. So obviously, this Patriots team obviously is 1-4.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, this isn't the Patriots that we grew to accustomed, especially since the turn of the century. Obviously they're 1-4. Their last two games, they've lost. Their combined scores was 72-3. So they have given up 72 points, and they've only put up 3 points in those two losses to Dallas and to New Orleans Saints.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, they're last in the league at 11.0 points per game, a putrid. It makes the Washington Commanders look like the 1999 LA. The 1999 St. Louis Rams, making us look like the greatest show on turf, but we're on grass. But that's a funny correlation. So should this be the last year for Bill Belichick with the New England Patriots? What you got?
I want to say no. I think he needs to do one or the other. He either need to be the coach or he needs to be the GM. I don't think he needs to be both. Yeah. I think he has a little bit too much. I will say this. I think he has too much control. And it might be time for him to give up some of that control so he can focus on either being a GM or being the coach. So I want to say no, still Bill Belichick. I just think that they need to take some things from him and let him focus on one thing.
Yeah, I think it should be his last year. Considering the fact that if he still remained the GM and the coach, because I think the biggest issue, I forgot who it was, but they made a great point. Like, what's wrong with this New England Patriots team? You don't have those guys. You don't have like the Scott Pioli's anymore. You don't have the Thomas Dimitrovs, guys who essentially built this program and then built. They went on. Obviously, you look at Scott Pioli. He built not this current Chiefs situation, but you're thinking about Scott Pioli, maybe like maybe like mid 20 teens and right around that in there. This is before Patrick Mahomes and all them, but he built a solid team there. And then you look at what Thomas Dimitrov used to do. Obviously they was with him, and then you see what he built in Atlanta. Obviously he was a part of that. Atlanta situation. With Matt Ryan and those teams were really successful. And obviously you look at it from that standpoint. I think it's it. I mean, because to me, yeah, it's this is it. I mean, I think it's really hurting his legacy in the sense. Even though I'm not saying it's going to hurt his legacy, but it's one of those where it's like, Bill, like, hey man, it's getting a little rough. And I like you say, if they can take the GM hat from him, then I'm cool with him being the head coach and let somebody else, essentially do the scouting, because you look at their drafts, they really haven't. To me, they did a disservice to McCorkle Jones. I know a lot of people think he's trash, but I mean, who is he throwing it to? Like,
right?
They haven't really essentially got any playmakers. I think you think about one of the playmakers that they had was Nikhil Nikhil. I forgot his last name, but the wide receiver, he's gone now. So
right,
Nikhil Henry. It was Nikhil Henry. So you look at that, they really haven't built, especially from a playmaker offensive standpoint, probably since like Gronk and Aaron Hernandez, God rest his dead. But yeah.
It's weird, man, because I remember like when we first got together, we were saying how smart he was. He would trade somebody, he would have all these second round picks or things of that nature. And he was like, he would draft decent, and you would think they would be sorry, but they'd still push a little bit. Even though, and I'm talking, they might have had Tom Brady. It just seemed like now it's almost like an arrogance is coming out of him, like or he's like he's trying to sabotage it. It just seemed like he's not getting the players. He's not. Nobody wants to come near. You know they're not going to pay you. It's just a lot of things. It's like they back against the wall, and they really need to be saying, okay, if we're going to keep this winning culture, we got to make some moves. And part of them is they either need to take the GM from him, or tell him to be the GM and let him coach. Because I think I believe if he's the GM, if he has a quarterback that he feels like he deserves the money, he's going to pay him, or a player. I really believe that for some reason, because I think he was willing to pay Jimmy G. Don't you think so?
I mean, he wanted Jimmy G.
Yeah, that's
He
what I'm saying.
wanted him. That was a Robert Kraft thing. He wanted to keep. He wanted to keep
Right, but
Brady.
he was. But if he'd have kept him, they'd have paid him. Because Jimmy G got paid.
But in a sense, he was, and in theory, he was smart though. I mean, it was because he damn near almost outlived Tom Brady in a weird way.
Right.
Bill was smart with that. I know, but I mean, they just haven't been the same since Tom Brady. And I think, like I said,
Right.
going back to the argument with not the argument, but the statement about the last time they really had some playmakers was, with the two tight ends. So, like to me, I think this is gonna be one of those things where if I'm Bob Kraft, I have to sit down with him. I mean, I'm gonna probably. It could probably be a little bit after Thanksgiving, probably a couple weeks after December. Have a nice dinner, have a heart to heart, drink some, have the finest foods, and wine dinner, all kind of stuff, all the trim.
Clam chowder.
So I mean, it's gonna be kind of one of the type of dinners, and it's one of those things that was before, because obviously the way things are going now at 1-4, and then you think to yourself, gosh, like the schedule doesn't get any better for this Patriots team, and then obviously you're only averaging 11 points per game, and it's not one of those where Bill Belichick, and in essence, is going to be that Black Monday, firing casualty. He don't deserve that. I think, like I said, you had it. They have a great dinner with him. I want to say either because you want to do it before Christmas because you need it. No, I'm serious. From an NFL calendar's perspective,
I'm just thinking it's funny. I just think it's funny. You keep saying, "Look, you need to feed him," because I'm telling you, like talking to him after a dinner is gonna be great.
because he deserves that. I think what Bill has done for this organization, he deserves that type of talk and to say, hey, it's gonna be either or. If you want to go upstairs and have another executive position, you're good.
Like
but we gotta get a new head coach. And yeah, well, it's in the sense, not as urgency as the Last Supper, but more so of a supper of the minds. Where I think, because I can see if Bill, hey, if you want to go upstairs, you want to be the GM, you got the autonomy to hire the next head coach if you want to do that, or a consulting role. Like, I don't think he's gonna be like. I think Bill can still be around, but Bill, like you said, Bill gonna have to make a decision because he can't be the chef and the person. I mean, I know as he comes from the Bill Parcells mindset of, hey, how can you force me to make a dinner, but I can't pay for I can't get the groceries.
Right.
Let answer go.
Oh. Go ahead.
No,
you go ahead. You flowing.
Right.
Go ahead.
So like I know you come from that Parcells school of thought, but man, you have to let somebody get these groceries. You get it out your porch and you cook it because you doing that both. What's going on in New England is unacceptable. So it's gonna be either one or the other. But I still think it's gonna be. I still think he'll be in the building in 2024. But what will be his position? And I think they gotta have a heart to heart.
I think Bill needs to step back and look at the legendary NBA coach and player Pat Riley, and I think that's the way he should go. I think he should pull back, like and still keep the same standard of how he had things. You know what I mean? And hire All right, coach. It seemed like to me too. Maybe keep it in house. Somebody that we don't even know, but just like what's his name, Mike McDaniel's for the Dolphins. His
Yeah.
name Mike
Oh,
McDaniel's, right?
yeah.
For the
Yeah.
Dolphins.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah.
Like he came up with the Broncos. Like, don't lose that. It's probably somebody there that understand the Patriots way. That's what I sometimes, man. I get it. I I want Matt Canada fired, and you know how loyal the Steelers are, but
Yeah.
sometimes, man, like they losing right now. They do have a culture, and it's with Bill Belichick. That it's different than the Patriots before Bill Belichick and Tom Brady was there, and they could come back. I remember, like somebody said today, it was like 10 years where they didn't win a Super Bowl, and you really forget about those years, when they didn't win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So it could come back, but it's the simple fact that he's getting older, and they may need some new, young, fiery person. You know what I mean? To get everybody moving, and they're gonna have to start paying a little bit. They're gonna have to start paying a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, they might. Oh, they might hire Billy O'Brien, Billy O, and Lord don't let him ever be the coach and the GM, because he'll mess around and trade DeAndre Hopkins for a bag of Skittles like he did with
Right.
Arizona.
I think that that'd be funny. The week before they had a meeting, hey, you like crab legs, Bill?
But
Like,
yeah,
you like Marco's pizza?
yeah,
Like, just had those conversations and then have all his favorite things and say, hey man, I brought out this 1942 cognac. So after we eat, we don't,
because
But I'm
yeah,
hoping that, you know, I hope Bill is at a place where he can understand that, man, that era is over with. You're gonna have to make a decision. Or do you think, can you see Mr. Kraft really letting him go? Like if
no,
you're not,
yeah, I don't think. Oh my bad.
no, you good. Go ahead.
No, I don't think so. Like I said, I think if he would get a position within the organization, like a consultant or maybe the GM, but like or give him the opportunity, like I said, to give him full autonomy to hire his replacement in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think because Bill, like I said, he's not going to be one where we sit here on January the 8th, and it's like breaking news, dun, 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 Bill Belichick been fired. No, that's
Right.
not going to happen. But they're gonna, like I said, you have that meeting of the minds in December, and we talk through it. And I think that's where, you can see where I think he will step down maybe from his position as a
Mm-hmm.
head coach. So I could definitely think that, yeah, I don't think they can fire him. Now you can't fire somebody who gave you 6 Super Bowls. I don't care.
Well, what's
I
what
don't
I
care if he had
mean?
a decade of. I don't care
Well,
if they sucked for a decade.
right,
Pause.
right.
Yeah.
But I'm. It's, what if he don't like the fact that he's feeling like he's being attacked and he's being forced? Maybe he doesn't like that, and he's like he
Yeah.
just want to walk. He's like, man, I just take my chances somewhere elsewhere and see what
Yeah.
comes.
What's that girl from the 90s? What's her name? Sybil? Walk on by. I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, because at the end of the day,
Right.
like you said, he's not the thing about why this team is the way it is,
Tell me.
because he's not acquiescent to the current NFL. You look at
Right.
now, like I even mentioned. I mean, and I just the 32nd as far as points per game. That's one story. But they're like 28th, 29th in a lot of statistical categories across the board, offense and defensively. Bill, to his credit, he did a great job. Obviously, you think about him being the defense coordinator for those Giants team that won two Super Bowls, then kind of resurrected his and that's college, but his coaching career in New
Mm-hmm.
England, because essentially he was pretty much the fall guy in Cleveland, and then he gets to do his thing here in New England and just
Right.
changed his life. But guess what? The league is changing. A lot of things have
Right.
passed you by. Is you on MySpace anymore? He's
Right.
in MySpace, and we
Yeah.
on Twitter and
Online.
TikTok and all that. Yeah, so
Right.
he on Vine while everybody on TikTok.
Right.
So
Napster.
you know, essentially, yeah.
But
Oh, that's Spotify. Yeah.
I just sitting here thinking about him. Remember, like he left. What did he leave from? What did he go to the Jets to the Patriots?
Yeah, he was the Jets coach for like what a couple days, and then he ended up
Right.
like went about face with the
And I think that's his biggest thing is his I think you know what's funny? I seen him on a show, and it was everybody from a specific era: the Ray Lewis, Ben Roethlisberger, Ed Reed, and like that just era, early 2000s, I guess you could say. And he seemed so cool. He seemed like a robot, like a tight ass. You know what I'm saying? He didn't seem that type of person. He's just talking to football and people. It was just, I was like, man, he looked like he might be really cool to chill with. But then it just seemed like some of the stuff he do, it's like he sabotaged, just like he texts Brian, BA about congratulations with the Giants. Like he could sit there and act like that was a mistake, allegedly, but he could sit like and act like it was a mistake. But I believe he did it on purpose. I believe he did it on purpose because he seemed like he's that type of person.
Yeah, man. But something gonna happen in New England. I'll put it this way: something gonna have to give because it's bad New England. If you look at these last two games, it's horrible in New England. It's one of those where it's weird to see the New England pages look this bad. Like
right,
Tracy.
Hey,
like
so we heard some things about some people adjusting the air in the footballs. Do you know anything about that, Coach? Oh, you're gonna have to talk. He was like, it was like a reporter was like, so.
Oh
Coach,
yeah, Exxon.
We heard
Exxon.
some people was adjusting the air in some of the footballs. Can you speak on that? Oh yeah, you need to talk to Tom.
Yeah, pretty much. Hey man,
talk to
right.
Tom about that. That ain't got nothing to do with me.
But yeah, so I'm gonna have to give with this situation, and it's almost gonna happen. So
and I think
or
Robert Kraft, got to do what he got to do. Like he seemed like he ain't really the type of person that like to do that type of stuff too, Mr. Kraft.
Yeah,
like but it is what it is, man.
Yeah, that's the thing, and that's like, and I said like they kind of had a conversation with him, and it might be difficult, but hey, it has to be said because because Bill essentially he'll coach to forever. So it's like, hey,
right.
If you allow him, but hey, say we got to set something.
The fans need something. They want to buy jerseys. They have a arrogant winning culture. They're this close to being like the Cowboys. You know that, right? They were really, really close to being arrogant. Like, you know what I mean?
They are
like serious. And then Tom.
And they spoiled. Like, could you? I mean, you think about it. Can you really sit here and imagine? And I know this is before Tom Brady because they were still a decent football team. Even I would say almost 30 years when you think about it. They've been a pretty. I mean, as far as I think about the Drew Bledsoe days. Because
right,
they were okay back then. They were just running the average team. But then from week to 2 of the 2001 season to 2019, well, even to 2020. These guys are winning in the division and all this type of stuff. It's okay. It's okay to have some down years. So I'm like, hey, I know a lot of us is like kind of happy and kind of soaking, like, hey, finally, there's some parity going on in New England. But you think about it, they really have had like almost 30 years of at least a semi-decent football team. Now this is the worst of the worst. This is like it's unheard of. It's like the 80s.
This year, to me, it seemed like people are really paying attention to the details. Like, it's time for him to leave, and then people started to look at my coach Tomlin like, oh, hey, we like you when you speak and everything, but there's some small detailed things that we paying attention. Like, okay, it almost seemed like you just trying to just ride the wave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, you should be looking to try to win the Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, it's happened, man. You get a taste of success. Everybody think it's gonna happen every year. I think it's every NFL franchise's way of it because some people got it. Get lucky, and some just stay down in the dumps forever. So, hey, New England, hey, welcome to how most NFL franchises are. We have ebb and flows of bad and good seasons. So be thankful. Be thankful for those 20 plus years when you ruled the AFC East, because you definitely don't do it now. There's a guy from Wyoming who was taking over that, and potentially a quarterback from Alabama that's doing anything in the AFC East.
Right.
So speaking of the AFC East, we talk about. So now we're gonna go a little west. So we're gonna talk about the San Francisco 49ers. So the San Francisco 49ers are currently 5-0. So, and I was almost feeling a little bit of 1972 Miami Dolphins. We always get to this point where, hey, I feel like I should have had Mercury Morris on here, or so any of the guys from the 72 Dolphins, especially Mercury Morris with a Dolphins rap. That would have been so appropriate for a night like tonight. So we have 5 games into the season. I know people. I think when you look at it from San Francisco from the standpoint, the games that they have played in this regular season, they pretty much have been in dominating fashion. I think the only game that essentially they were close was a few weeks ago against the LA Rams, but pretty much they've essentially been playing in dominant fashion against their 5 opponents. So I want to get your thoughts on the likelihood of the San Francisco 49ers running the table from a percentage-wise. What you got?
I'm gonna give it 60 or 70. I'm looking at the schedule. I believe that that December 3rd, the Eagles game, and one of them games against the Seahawks, I believe they're going to lose. I don't know. Maybe between the Ravens, you guys, and the Rams, they might get one. So I'm saying 60 or 70.
Okay. I'm gonna give it a big fat 0. They're not going undefeated in the regular season for sure. Part of me, I know I'm gonna say this out loud. Sunday's not gonna be a walk in the park against Cleveland. I think, because you think about it, these are pretty much one of the top 2 defenses in the league. So you're looking at that. I'm not saying that they're gonna lose Sunday. It's a couple games I think on my radar, but I definitely think at the bye week when we're sitting here, the first week of November, yeah, they're probably gonna be. They may be 8-0 when we sit here.
Most
pretty
teams
much
are
in 3 weeks.
A lot of teams are when they go try to be undefeated.
So I think, I think they'll go into a bad week potentially 8-0. I mean, because you think about it, they got Cleveland, then they got Minnesota on Monday Night Football, and then they got Cincinnati. That's gonna be really intriguing because I want to see what Cincinnati is at that point. Because obviously, you look at how they won against Arizona last week. I forgot who they played this week, but then you think to yourself, what kind of Cincinnati team will we be seeing on October the 29th? Curious as that. And then, I don't know, that coming off the back, going to Duval in Jacksonville, I think that's going to be intriguing. But I think the game to really watch and then of note, I think that Thanksgiving night game against Seattle is going to be one of those where if they get, because I'm looking at it like this. So they'd be 8-0, 9-10. So that'd be their 11th game. And I think that could be where they could potentially get that slip up. And if not, I mean, you do got Philly, which I think they'll beat Philly. Yeah, I'll get the Seattle, either that December 10th or the Thanksgiving night one. The Commanders one's gonna be interesting, but I think the Seattle ones where it's gonna be interesting, and then I think maybe the Rams, if it is a situation where if they've already have won essentially the West and pretty much they've clinched the number 1 overall seed, and they pretty much put Sam Darnold in the game, they probably can lose that game in a sense, because I think you do want to lose a football game.
Right.
That's what scares me about San Francisco. That scares me a lot with San Francisco.
Y'all playing at home, right?
Yeah, on New Year's Eve.
That's what I'm saying. I think y'all play better in December. I think y'all play very, very well in December.
Yeah.
That's why I said I believe the Seahawks gonna get a game, and I think the Rams may get a game because it was close and they divisions, right? They are rivals, right?
Who?
The Rams.
Seattle. Yeah, the Rams.
No.
Yeah, and that,
Yeah.
yeah, the Rams. Yeah.
I don't. I think the 49ers are dangerous, but I feel wolf tickets. I feel like they going. Like you said, Cleveland. I think they're gonna beat Cleveland. I think those teams. I think they're gonna beat the Bengals. I think they really are a physical team. But I just got the weirdest feeling, like the people that know how to play them in their division, just like us. I feel like the Ravens is better than the Steelers. I'm sure most people agree. But like Mike Tomlin would say, we know how to play against Lamar. You know what I mean? So I feel the same way with those. That's why I said they played the Seahawks twice.
Yeah.
They play the Ravens. They play the Commanders. I think those games right there, some interesting things are going to happen.
But yeah, I definitely think they definitely need to have a loss because I definitely, especially considering the fact that because you need to have some type of adversity because they really haven't had any adversity.
Mm-hmm.
The only close game was against the Rams, so it's just one of those where, and I don't know, I think maybe the carryover effect from last year, and I think one thing too where, but they won't. I think they'll lose. I definitely think they'll go in the bad week. If I had to put some money on it, or what I can think that's the most guaranteed, I can see them going to that bad week 8-0. But I think after that, I mean, you got a lot of teams. Like I think the one I think if they get past the bye week, the ones that really gonna scare me is Jacksonville and the Seattle matchups. So, and if it goes that further, I say the Rams in week 18 if they rest everybody and so
It's gonna be
it's gonna be
interesting.
interesting.
It's gonna be interesting. I would like this because they physical and they're fast, and I'm wondering if somebody just gonna really like slow them down and kind of like go down the field on them, and I think that's gonna be hard to do.
Yeah. But but that's one thing where if you look at that San Francisco team, like as far as you just look at it from that standpoint. But but I don't know. I'm telling you, I wish I would have squeezed in that in our picks as far as having San Francisco and Cleveland. That's what I'm like, oh, that one is kind of like it's tricky. And even I think that Monday Night Football game next Monday, I think is going to be really, really interesting to say the least as well. So it's like a lot of it, and plus obviously they, two East Coast games, so that they'll be on, be out here east, for the next 2 weeks. So
is Deshaun playing?
Yeah. I don't know. I think he's questionable. I don't know. I don't know if he practiced today or not, but that's gonna be interesting. And then obviously they put if they obviously if he don't if he's not in there, you got DTR. And now our guy. I'm thinking I'm talking to Lamar, but Dorian Dorian Thompson. He's the future of that team. I think DTR, but so I think they're not gonna run the table. I think we just people say that just that's how like
I mean
it's a big fat zero.
What they see is their team that got close. You got Brock Purdy's been dominant. You seen his maturity, but reality gonna set in. Like no offense, I feel like I remember when that happened with Josh Allen. As quarterbacks, that stuff has happened to you. Be like, oh man, and then that loss, that things start. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but I don't know that Brock Purdy. Oh, dude, he can ball, he can play, and he can play. And I remember seeing him firsthand last year. And I'm like, yo, I thought we were gonna be able to tee off of him and get stuff. I'm like, yo, this dude is carving us up. Like that mess was unreal. I was like, dude, Brock Purdy is
a great coach.
He's that guy.
Nothing but weapons. They've had somewhat of a defense probably for 10 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but now they finally, let me tell you, the 49ers finally got a quarterback. You know what I mean? For years they was having quarterback issues. You know what I mean? They was just in the Super Bowl 5 years ago?
No,
4 years ago?
To the well, really, it to 2020, 3 years ago, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they've been there. So, like, I guess supposedly this year it's supposed to be somewhat personal. But Man, eventually teams are going really, 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 you know what I'm saying? Because it was like, to me, like the Eagles was the same way last year. Like it was like, man, they were just so dominant. They schemes. I'm like, damn, this. I said, are you
But
watching this? Then all of a sudden,
remember, I will say this on anything. I will be on the hill for this. If Brock Purdy was healthy in that game, that man would have won the Super Bowl last year. They would have went to the
yeah,
Super Bowl. You
yeah,
ain't about it wouldn't have been no Uncle Travis won. Uncle Travis would have been the only one in the game because Jason wouldn't have been in that game because
right,
Brock Purdy. I'm telling you, Brock. I'm telling you, that's why I think they're on the road like they are now. Because like
right.
if they had a healthy quarterback, hell, I ain't even trying to. If they
No,
had
no, you're
had
right.
me, if they would have had Chris Powell there as a quarterback, maybe like as a teenager or in my early 20s, hey, we'd be going to Super Bowl.
Right.
I'm just saying.
I
Yeah,
would have.
but
I would have probably happy too, because then we have to think about Patrick Mahomes limping around. No, Juju wouldn't have a Super Bowl anyway.
yeah, okay, Davies Tony. Well, no, they probably. Well, I don't know. They might have, but yeah. Shout out to my cuz. What's going on, man? So
What's up, cuz?
I'm still a cowboy. I know you had a great time Sunday night when we got whipped. I mean, actually, I think I was warned out of Thursday. I think I almost was like, hey, it is what it is. I think Thursday kind of drained me. I was like, you know what? Whatever happens, happens. I like, hey, at least y'all lost to a San Francisco 49ers team. I can say, hey, okay, we lost by 32. But we lost to a team that was 0-4 and they ain't won a game in a year by 20. So, it won't, I don't know. I'd rather take that L to a 49 team than a Bears team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, any day. But even going back to San Francisco, and I keep telling people about the San Francisco situation. I tell people this all the time. People always like, as far as, oh, it's so hard to build teams. No, it's not hard. Like San Francisco showed everybody how to build your football team.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how you're supposed to like everybody always want to reinvent the wheel. That's the thing I hate about football, where people make football so complicated to a point where you overthink yourself. It's like paralysis by analysis. What San Francisco was able to do, what every NFL team should do. You hire a GM. The GM hires a coach. They are lock and step. And I know it's hard to get a lock and step type relationship. But y'all got to be on the same page. So that means when it comes to personnel, it comes to this, they strengthen their offensive line, they strengthen their defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
And they got everything, all that. They got the foundation together. And Brock Purdy came at the perfect time because, like I said, they always have had a whirlwind of quarterbacks. I mean, they even had America's favorite grandson, C.J. Beathard, who almost beat the Washington Commanders back in like 2018. So you think to yourself, like, now they got it because obviously they had Jimmy Garoppolo and a bevy of quarterbacks, especially after Jimmy G got hurt one of those years. C.J. Beathard was their starting quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
But, and now they have the quarterback. What's crazy is they went and traded up to get Trey Lance. That didn't work. And then come to find out, you end up turning Mr. Irrelevant to one of the most relevant quarterbacks in the NFL.
Right.
So yeah, man. It ain't. I mean, it's but once they got the quarterback, but they built everything else first, and then got that quarterback. So
right.
That's what you gotta do.
I ain't mad at you.
For sure. So we got to get into our game to watch this weekend. So this segment of game to watch this weekend is powered by our sponsor, SeatGeek. So head over to SeatGeek.com. Use the promo code CouchCoach. Get yourself $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. So you can get $20 off the matchup that we're gonna talk about this weekend, or any of your favorite matchups that you want to see this weekend. Or anything coming down the turnpike in this month of October, during a holiday season in November, December, or hell, if you're looking at something for 2024, we got you, man. So we got you covered. So head over to SeatGeek.com, use the promo code CouchCoach, get yourself $20 off your first purchase. So what is your game to watch this weekend? What you got?
I mean, I'm sorry, I got a few. Some really good games. I really apologize, but I got the Commanders versus the Falcons. The Commanders is 2-3, and the Falcons are 3-2. I think there's to keep the move. I think I really believe the Commanders want to recover from their loss. So I think, and then the Falcons want to keep pushing forward after beating the Texans. So I think this is going to be an interesting game. Every game means something. I got the Seahawks at 3-1, and then versus the Bengals 2-3. I got I got the Saints versus the Texans. Saints are 3-2, and the Texans are 2-3. The Texans, to me, they're really putting together after beating us. Something great that's going on in with the Texans. So I believe after losing to the Falcons, they really want to push it forward. And I think the Lions are 4-1 versus the Bucks instead of 3-1. I think that's going to be a really, really, really good game.
Yeah. So I got a couple. So I'm gonna stay in college first. So I got number 25 Miami at number 12 UNC. Obviously, we want to see what Miami does, especially after the blunder last week. You look at Tyler Van Dyke. He's doing a great job for the Hurricanes. He's doing his thing. Also, as mentioned too, other quarterback on the other end for Carolina, Drake May. Pretty solid start to the year. But so that's gonna be definitely a good game. And Miami, surprisingly, is still in the top 25. So we really want to see the result of this Miami team. Has Mario Cristobal lost his football team? We'll definitely find out under the lights on Saturday night how this team rebound after a historically crazy end against Georgia Tech. So that one. And I think Oregon versus Washington, that is going to be that's a top 10 match. Well, really a top 8 matchup. We got two teams, Oregon and Washington. You got, we talked about the quarterback, situation, Miami and UNC. This one, another one. This one is best. I mean, you think about Bo Nix, he's doing his thing, and then Michael Penix Jr. And I think essentially this game is going to be so significant because this is going to be, I think, how the Pac-12 will be won. I mean, you look at these. To me, whoever wins this game essentially has that advantage in a sense as far as when it comes to leading this Pac-12. And I think when you look at it, whoever has the better performance in this game, I think they're going to put themselves in high up as far as when it comes to the Heisman. From a Heisman standpoint, I think if one of these guys have a spectacular game against one another, they're gonna be at the front of the line when it comes to Heisman rankings. So I like that, and also just it's the Pac-12 on display, especially in this final year of the Pac-12. We have some pretty good teams, which really sucks from the Pac-12, but it is what it is. And then I think to round out my game to watch, well, really it's technically. It ain't the weekend, but it's a Monday night game. That's going to be the Cowboys and the Chargers. Obviously, the Cowboys stay west. Now you want to see what Mr. Kellen Moore. They get to face offensive prowess of Kellen Moore. So you definitely want to see what this Cowboy team will do. I mean, obviously, after that loss on Sunday Night Football, this is another primetime game, and will Dak be able to essentially kind of put the situation from last Sunday out of his head and just go forward? So I look at it from that standpoint. So yeah, those are our games to watch this weekend, powered by SeatGeek. So gotta get to our pick 7. So last week I went 4-3. Maui, you went 3-4. So for the year, I'm up 25-10. I mean, 25 wins, 10 losses. Now you had 16 wins, 16 losses. So we got number 8 Oregon at number 7 Washington. Who you got?
I went number 7 Washington.
Okay, Washington. Okay, all right. Give me the fight, Nate Robinsons. Give me the Huskies of Washington. We got number 25 Miami at number 12 UNC. What you got?
I'm going UNC.
Okay. Of course, I got UNC. I mean, that's a given. All right, so we got an interesting one. This is Caleb Williams head Midwest. We got the number 10 USC Trojans versus number 21 Notre Dame.
I'm going Notre Dame. I think since the Colorado game, I think USC has been like showing a certain thing, and I think they're not playing well. They're not as the defense is really not as good, and I think eventually somebody's going to catch up to them. So I'm going Notre Dame.
This is a hungry team. Obviously, Notre Dame laid an egg against Louisville last week.
Right.
But I'm gonna go with Caleb Williams. I'm gonna go with Caleb Williams, USC. I think they're gonna put up big numbers in because essentially Notre Dame season is over, and essentially USC got to catch up because obviously the winner of this Oregon Washington game, they're gonna have to keep up. So we got a Thursday night game under the lights on NFL. So we got the Denver Broncos and the Kansas City Chiefs. Who you got?
Oh, the Chiefs. Yeah, right.
Yeah, and I know.
Is Sierra playing?
I don't know. I mean, she might be there.
My goodness.
Yeah, so I trade you one pop star relationship to the other, but
right.
I don't know. The main character is questionable, so we don't know. Uncle Travi is questionable for tomorrow night's game, and I don't care. I don't care who it was. Hell, you can bring back Elvis Grbac can be the quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs game. Give me the Chiefs because the Broncos are done.
They're done.
We got another London game, 9:30. So when the British from the West go east to London. So if you're in Baltimore and the sound of my voice, get up, dummy. Get up early, dummy.
Right.
So we got the boys from the Avenue. We got the boys from. What is you stupid?
Are you stupid? You see what time it is? You dumb. Get up, dummy.
You woke up at 10:30. We got a game, dummy. Is you stupid? Is you stupid?
Man, that's look bad.
Come on now. You over there, I told you. You over there watching Hulu at 1 o'clock in the morning. You know we got a game. And we ain't at the bank.
Right.
So get up early. Is you stupid? Get up at 7:30, stupid. So we got the Baltimore Ravens versus the Tennessee Titans in London. Right. 9:30 kickoff. So adjust your clocks, DMV. So right. Who you got?
I'm going Ravens.
Yeah, give me the boys from the Avenue. We'll have a spotted tea and a hamburger for the dummy for the Duke of Baltimore. So so yeah. So well, we got a Sunday night football game that I think most of America might fall asleep. I know I might. We got the Giants versus the Bills, and this is a Super Bowl rematch. This is that Scott Norwood isn't walking through that building. So who you got in this matchup?
Oh man, I'm going with the Bills.
Yeah, it's gonna be in the Orchard Park. I mean, it's a given. So we got the Arlington football team, aka the Dallas Cowboys, versus the LA Chargers. Who you got?
Oh man, I got the Chargers.
Oh wow. Yeah, as the former governor of California, go Chargers, go. So, hey, it's only fair, right? The Chargers. So what we're gonna do? So we'll put a ball tonight show. So we'll give out our game ball.
We got a game.
So who gets your game ball? We got a game, dummy. And it ain't at the bank.
Did you put the? You didn't even put the crabs up. You stupid dummy. Anyway, all right.
What is you stupid?
I gave him the game ball to Javon and Antonio. the wide receiver, number 4 for the Colorado Buffaloes. He had 5 receptions for 81 yards and 1 TD. He actually was the difference maker. And I have the other Buffalo teammate, Ali Dando Mata. That's it, right?
Oh yeah, Money Mata. Yeah, boy.
Money
Yeah,
Mata. I
man.
don't miss.
Yeah.
Yeah, clutch kick. Them 2 players is actually the difference. Definitely Sanders number 2, but those 2 players actually. It seemed like every week it's somebody that comes out of nowhere that stands out. So I wanted to give. I didn't really have nobody, so I was while we was doing the show, I was saying to pick some game balls. So I know you got some special people to get your game balls to.
Yeah, so I got 2, and I you know what? I might throw in a honorable mention. That's
Okay,
how I felt a little generous this week,
right.
do that. So my 2 game balls, I definitely got to give a huge shout out to first of all, obviously to Thomas Jefferson High School, a neighboring school, pretty much damn near on the same street. So definitely huge shout out to Thomas Jefferson. Had a great win on Thursday. Not on the Thursday, but last week against Godwin at Godwin. They won by the final score of 24-14. They're 5-0. So this is their
Hmm.
first win over Godwin since 1991.
Wow.
So huge shout out to all the folks down there at Thomas Jefferson, TJ. They're doing their thing. And so also, we got. I want to give Mass another NFL one. So Nathaniel Hackett, well, not another one, but Nathaniel Hackett. Obviously, we know he is the head coach at. No, he's not the head coach anymore. He was the former head coach of the Denver Broncos. He's currently the offensive coordinator with the New York Jets. So obviously, a lot. The current coach Sean Payton was talking a little bit of trash in his,
Hmm.
in his introductory press conference, and was saying how essentially Nathaniel Hackett had one of the worst coaching jobs of last year. It was a terrible job, but he comes into Denver and his offense put up 31 points and beat the Denver Broncos. So
Mm.
this is a how people say it's a dish. Revenge is a dish served cold, but
Hmm.
this is a dish served mile high. So definitely huge shout out to Nathaniel Hackett, and we definitely got to give a honorable mention. Got to give a shout out to our guy Coach Howard down at John Marshall. Great win on homecoming against Charles City at Hubby Field. So definitely huge shout out to Couch Coach Live alum Coach Howard. Keep doing this thing out there on the north side. So definitely huge shout out to
Right,
Coach
right.
Howard, and he doing this thing. So final thoughts before we head on out tonight. What you got?
Oh man, great show. Shoot, man, I had fun. We freestyle, we did everything. So can't wait till next week. Hey man, make sure y'all check out Commanders with the chat. Commanders in the chat, right?
Yeah. Come in and chat. Yeah.
And every
Yeah.
Thursday,
Thursday, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Yep,
right?
yep,
And
yep.
NFC Beast, which is Saturday at 9 p.m. Right?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
I know, man. Everything going on. I'll be like, oh, I was like, and it's crazy because a lot of people do other more stuff. Like when it comes to cool, and I'm
Right,
like, dude, like, how do you do all that? Like,
right.
that's how I'd be it's such amazing. I'd be like, dude, like out of house, like that's why I was like, everybody who do their stuff, I'd be like, man, shout out to them because I'd be
Right.
like, I was like, dude, you have a show every single day. And I'm like, dude, I got like 3, and I'm struggling.
Right. That's why I was sitting here thinking. I said, man, I need to start because I know for a fact, Commanders in the chat, y'all love y'all team so much, and everybody feels that pain. Like y'all get it's like a roller coaster ride. Y'all up, and then something happens, y'all down. And I'm like, man, I got to start helping them to push that one because that's a great podcast.
Yeah, man, because that's oh my god,
Because
yeah,
y'all are
it's
experts.
stressful.
If you ever talk to a commander, oh man, y'all are experts when it comes to your team. Everybody got something to say to help the team. That is
Yeah,
like, man, the whole line was hurt. It's been hurt. The whole line been hurt for 15 years. You know what I mean?
man.
Everybody got something help the situation out.
But it's stressful though, because it's like sometimes you just be like, because man, like Thursday night we were just like, man, I was like, man, I hate this team. Like, I don't know if you ever seen that TikTok and the little boy be like, I hate the Raiders. You ever
I
seen
do
that
it too.
before?
No, but I just had that
Oh
feeling.
my
I seen the
God.
score. I said, I know them two. It's got the saddest face in the world.
Yeah, man.
I'm
It's
so sick of
stressful.
this.
It is. It's cool, but then this is like when they lose, you just be like, man, it's deflating. We just like, especially last week. I think last week, it's a few, in the 3 years we've done it, where it's like some losses just to be like it just demoralizing. Like this one was a little tough. And then considering the fact all the other stuff that was going on in this game and just like, DJ Moore going off. I'm like, dude, like he's having almost a damn NFL record type day. He had his career high.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was terrible. But we'll be back at it tomorrow, and we'll talk about our matchup against the Atlanta Falcons. So
right,
we shall see. But yeah, man, once again, great show. So where can you find you on social media? What you got?
Deshaun Morgan Facebook, DT Morgan 78 Instagram.
All right. So pretty much follow the podcast anywhere you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, on the Couch Coach Live. Check out the website, couchcoachlive.com. So the last thing I got was a recap of University of Richmond's win last week over Maine. So definitely go on to couchcoachlive.com, and then it's under the featured post. It'll be right on the landing page. Check that out. Just throw a like or just hey,
right.
I read it. What it is, what it is. So definitely check that out. Some more stuff will be coming down the turnpike on that website. We obviously, as the season, as that season kind of wind down a little bit, only 2 more games left in the football season. Obviously we'll have some more content, some VCU content coming down there really, really soon. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Yeah. And like I said, Commanders in the chat tomorrow night, 9:00 Eastern Time, Commanders ITC. And then check out the NFC Beast on Couch Coach Live Twitter page, 9:00 Eastern Time. So yeah, man, this has been this week's Couch Coach Live, man. We will catch you guys next week. And we're out.
Welcome.